Hey guys, it's Maymay, and it's time to introduce you to our newest stamp set in our line, which is called Never Ending Calendar. Now this is a really cool calendar and a neat way to stamp out the months of the year without having to have 3 or 4 separate little calendars. You may have seen this video go up on Saturday or Friday of last week, but I was battling a terrible cold and I filmed that video with cold head and did it completely wrong, so I'm redoing it for you guys. It was just terrible. I don't do perfect. We all know that. So I just took the video down and I was like, I will redo this when my head is clear. So I've had the weekend to recover and I'm going to fix this first part of the video. What I did was I showed you how to use it for the first of the month, but I failed to show you how to use it for the end of the month and totally messed it up. So please forgive me for that. I am human. Okay, so here's the deal about this. Because we were able to put all these numbers on the stamp so big, we were able to give you a bigger calendar using a 4x6 stamp set. So we're keeping your cost down because you're buying a less expensive stamp set instead of one of the larger ones to have a bunch of different calendars that start at different times. So this is really cool. I'm going to show you how to use this perpetual calendar here. The other thing I think is cool, we give you the months of the year here, and they're a pretty unique and simple font where you could use it for your feminine or your masculine gifts if you want to do it like that. But in the future, we'll be able to bring out more months of the year without having to take up space for the calendar because we'll have it on this calendar. Isn't that cool? Okay, there's also some little extra pieces. I'm going to show you how those work. On the back, you'll see this little section. Now, this is kind of neat. Mandy and I worked this out, and here's what happened. We wanted a calendar like this where you could just use one stamp set and make a calendar for every year that's coming up in the future. We searched everywhere, and if you go to Pinterest, you'll see this kind of calendar shown in lots of different ways. So this was really cool to me. I had her do this on the back of our little insert so you could see this. This little square moves around on this calendar to give you what you're looking for as far as the dates are. So when you're stamping, you're just going to ink up the days you need. Sounds good? Let me show you. So, like I said, some of you saw this the other day, but with my cold head, and I should have not tried to even post the video. I was like, I'm going to post it, but anyway, it was a bad idea. We're going to redo it. So here's what I have done to prep myself. I'm much clearer today. So I went through the months of the year, and on a scrap piece of paper, I wrote down all the months, the day the first is. So like January, Monday is the first. February, Thursday is the first. March, Thursday is the first. And what I didn't do in my original video is I went and put the last day of the month. So like it's the 1st through the 31st, the 1st to the 28th, the 1st to the 31st, the 30th, and so on and so forth. So this is how I started my little cheat sheet. So now I know what I need to be stamping. Then I'm going to take this stamp. This is the Sunday through Saturday stamp. This is what's going to help you line up all of your calendar pieces. So these little pieces of paper are 3.5 by 2 3/4. That works out perfect for me. And I'm going to use some VersaFine Onyx Black so you guys can see this really well. I'm going to ink up the days of the week. Now, when I made my calendar, I actually did this on my Misty because I find that since I'm going to be stamping this over and over again, it's pretty cool to use the Misty. But for here, just for demo purposes, I'm going to do it just like this to show you too that you don't have to have any fancy tools to get this done. All right, so the first thing I'm stamping is the days of the week, all right? And let's say that this one is going to be for, let's see what month I already have loaded here, August. So I still have August loaded on my block, so I'm going to ink that up. And I'm going to come right above here and stamp August. Now, the cool thing is you can take the letters of the month. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters, which means the center between the G and the U is the center point. And because you have so many here, you know that the W is the center point here. So when you're lining this up, just put the center point of the word over the most centered day, and that'll help you stay kind of in line, if that makes sense. Kind of like we used to line up things when we were doing typing in school, if any of you guys remember that. So there's August. So what I will do then to use this calendar is I will look at August, and I will say this, I would start with January normally, but since I'm just correcting this to show you how this works, this is how I'm doing it. So August, the first day is on Wednesday, and it has 31 days. So I have the perpetual calendar loaded on my block, and it's a pretty big block. This is actually that press that Fiskars does. It has those little squishy feet, and it works perfect for this. And I'm going to use some Post-it notes. Originally, I used some painter's tape, But my ink, my VersaFine, rarely dries on this painter's tape, and I found I got ink all over myself doing that. So again, that was probably cold head. So I'm going to take Post-it notes to use this time instead of painter's tape, because the ink will dry on the Post-it notes and I won't have to worry about smearing. All right, so I know that for August, Wednesday is the 1st. So this is going to be, this is the number 1. This is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. My calendar ends here at Saturday, so I'm going to take a Post-it note and lay it on the other side of that. We're just masking off the stamp to reveal what we want, so we can ink up exactly what we want. So if the 1st is Wednesday, I'm going to work my way back. So Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, and I can cover this up. Now you also can just count the days, because there's 7 days in a week. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's what we want. So I'm going to ink up this section. And remember, there's 31 days in August, so I'm good to ink up this whole section. If there weren't 31 days in this month, which obviously we have several months in the year that don't have 31 days, which I forgot to say in the first video, you're just going to clean the ink off of those days or mask them off the same. We'll stamp one of those in just a second. All right, so here's August. So what I'm going to do is take the 1st, line it up under Wednesday, just like so, and stamp that down. That gives me a perfect calendar for the month of August. Isn't that cool? Awesome. Let's do another month, and let's do February. It has a lot less days. So I'm going to start the same way. I'm going to stamp the days of the week and the month at the top. Oh, I don't need this. I'm going to use my VersaFine. So turn this around the correct way. And then I'm going to stamp this at the top. You only need to leave 3/4 of an inch to an inch at the top to put the word in. And you can measure that if you need to. Let me get February off of my sheet and put it on my block. You'll see too that I have this block double loaded. I tell you guys all the time that during this time of year when I'm making tags, I take my to and from my action stamp set and I load it on a block and I leave it there throughout the season because I'm always needing it. But I'm using the other side of the block to help me with this. So you can use both sides of your block as long as you can see through them. All right, so here's February. I'm going to line that up. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it'll be this letter in the middle, something like that. Good deal. Now we'll do our calendar portion. So I'm going to bring this guy back over, okay? And February, the 1st is on a Thursday, and then it ends on the 28th. So I know it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Oh, I just go through Saturday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I'm going to take my Post-it note, use the same one, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, block this section off, just like so. And then I'm going to come back here and go Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, Sunday. Block this section off. And then I like to, because I am terrible with numbers, like numbers just blur to me. I'm one of those people. I'm going to count 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I know I've got my 7. Now, I can either mask these off or clean them off. Now, because I used this stamp a while ago, I've already got some ink on the end of the days. So I'm just going to take a wet wipe and clean the ink off of those days that I'm not going to be using. Just make sure you get in the crevices real good on those. I'm going to give those a second to dry up, and then I'm going to mask them off with a Post-it note, but you don't have to. You could ink the whole section, take your wet wipe, and then clean the ink off the ones you don't need, but I'm going to mask them just because it's easy. I also find the less I play with ink, like cleaning it off or whatever, the less I get it on my hands, the less chance I have of getting ink everywhere. So I need 28 days. I'm going to mask off 29, 30, and 31, just like so. Hit this with some ink. Pull the mask away, and now those guys will not stamp, but the ones I need will. Okay, bring February back over. The first day of February is Thursday, so I'm going to line up the 1 under Thursday and stamp. Can you believe I totally forgot to show you how to do the end of the month? Just forgot. So there you go. I want to show you something too. As I picked this up, I noticed that I got two little dots of ink that I didn't clean off. This is one of those sand erasers, those mono sand erasers. what it does is it kind of sands the top layer of the paper away and removes any rogue ink. I think this thing is amazing, and it's good to have in your stash for any time you're stamping, not just whenever you're doing the calendar, because I just missed 2 little spots of ink when I cleaned it off. So there's February, there's August, there's your example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the original calendar that I made, because I show you in this video how to make this calendar, which I fell in love with. And I'm just going to leave this one in like it was. So if you see the mistakes in there, don't stress about that. We can fix that in the future. No big deal. So that's how you use the Never Ending Calendar stamp set, which I want to show you one more time. And you also get these little pieces here that are little icon pieces. So if you want to stamp over a special day of the month, let me show you how you do that. It's super cool too. So I'm using some Worn Lipstick Oxide ink. You don't want to super saturate this because you don't want to cover up the ink underneath, and it really won't. It'll just kind of give it a halo. So I'm going to mark a heart on February 14th so I can remember that is a special day. So see how that does? It just kind of highlights that day. I think that is super cute. And you end up getting, you have a little dot that you can use, a snowflake, you have a gift package, the heart, and also a star. So you can use all of those little icons for whatever things you want to mark off, and you're good to go. That is how the calendar works. They are in store. I turned them off this weekend because of the mistake. I did not want you guys to not know how to use something that you were purchasing, so I just turned them off until we could show you the correct way. Now I'm going to show you how to build that calendar, so let's get started. So I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to try it and let you guys know if it will. I have noticed that my art glitter glue sometimes has kind of a little stretchy feel to it. I'm going to see if this will work as a binder. So what I'm going to do is I've taken my months, I've stacked them up in order, and I'm pressing them down against my work surface at the top. I need this edge to be as flat as I can get it. Okay, so press that down. I'm going to then take some clothespins and just hold them in place like this. And I'm actually going to use these to help me do this next part. I'm going to stand them up on my work surface like this, okay, using those clothespins so you can see what this looks like. I kind of noticed that my art glitter glue stays a little bit, not rubbery, but sort of rubbery whenever I use it in a bigger amount. I'm going to try something. I'm going to try gluing this together on the end, just like this, with a pretty good bead of glue. And I'm going to see if this won't work as like that pull away and release kind of method. So I'm just globbing it up, but I'm trying not to go down into the pages. I'm trying to stay at the top so it just sits on the top. And I'm going to let this dry probably overnight, and we're going to come back and test it. I think I want to put one more clothespin to keep it kind of flat. I tell you what, now that I've got it there, I'm just going to squeeze it here since I've got it all lined up, to keep that flat so that the glue doesn't run down inside there. And then I'll just sit this up to dry. So in the vein of use what you got, I'm going to put this between some ink pads that'll hold it up straight, and I'm going to leave this alone to dry. But I want to make sure I have plenty of this glue nice and even. This may not work. I just want to know if it will. If it does, you'll see it. If it doesn't, I'll do a different method. So, good news and bad news. The good news is this totally worked. The glue dried overnight. It is a little bit kind of rubbery on the end. It's perfectly fine, and you'll be able to tear this away. Now, I'm not going to tear it totally away because I want to use this, but I'll show you. I can just tear that piece off, and I can move on to the next month, no problem. So, the one thing I did do was kind of open each one out like this. Look how cool this is. It worked perfect. I'm really excited about that. So, we don't have to buy another product. We can use what we've got in our stash and make this work. I did lay that on kind of thick. What was the bad news? Well, you can probably hear it. Overnight, I've taken on a head cold, so now you get to hear this voice for the rest of the video. I apologize. So you remember how I said we should make something for our craft room? That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this for myself. I'm being a little bit selfish, and I'm going to make myself a calendar for my desk, and I'm using the paper pack called I'd Rather Be Crafting. I love this paper pack, and I've been looking for a reason to use it, and this is it. So I'm going to make an easel card, basically, that has this calendar to sit up on my desk. That'll be so cute. So let's start with that process. So I'm using the cardboard that comes on the back of some of our paper packs. It's not a very thick cardboard. It's very similar to a cereal box, which would work perfect. But I'm going to cover it in my paper both sides because this is going to sit on my desk and I want it to be finished on both sides. I'm just going to go ahead and cover it before we do anything else to it. And I'm going to use the full sheets of sticky adhesive that we sell in the store. They come in these packs and you get full sheets of it. And it's the same thing as our sticky tape, but in sheet form. And I think when you're trying to do something that you want to really hold up well like this, This is a great adhesive for that. So here we go. This is how this is. It looks just like your sticky tape, but in sheet form, like I said. And I'm going to go ahead and cover both sides of this before I even pick my paper. So I'm going to pull back one side, and this will kind of tell you which side needs to be pulled back. Once you get started, you'll be able to tell, because one side is going to pull away easier than the other. There it goes. So you see how it just kind of separates, and whatever side the adhesive sticks to, that's where you want to leave it, and then pull one side away. Now here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to open this up wide enough for my piece. Okay. I'm going to stick this piece down in this top corner. Now once you stick it, it is stuck. And I'm going to run this edge and just keep an eye on it, making sure it's getting all the way to the edge of the adhesive, and then stick that in place. Then I'm going to bring this back over. I was going to use my scissors to do this, but I think I'm going to use my pen blade and just let it run beside it. You also can just slice this in the size you need before you put it down, and you'll be just fine. You can just make this the size you need for your project with your paper trimmer, and then stick it onto the project instead of doing it this way. This just works for me. It's just kind of how I've always done it. So just going to trim this out. So I've decided which pieces of the paper pack I want to go on the front and back of my big piece. This is like the main body of the project. I'm going to do corkboard on the front so that my little calendar will be on the corkboard. I'm going to do this on the inside. So if you look to the side of the project, you'll see this piece. So what I'm going to do is reveal the backer on here and then stick it down. So I'm just going to reveal the adhesive on the back of the chipboard that I did. And I pieced this one just a little bit because I missed a tiny spot on the edge. No big deal. So I'm going to peel this little piece up too. I got a little crooked when I laid it down, so I just pieced a little piece in there. All right, now I want this to be the side that shows. So I'm going to lay this where I can get to it on this edge. Pay attention to your patterns. If your pattern matters, you want to make sure you check that. Now I'm laying this on the edge here, and then everything else will work out. And if I need to trim it a little bit, you know, more than I thought I would, that's not a problem. I can do that. Again, I'm going to use my pen blade to do this. You can use scissors. You can pre-cut the paper if you want to the right size. This is just kind of how I've always done this, just like when I'm doing mini album covers or what have you. There's that, and then I'm going to cut this side. So this will be the inside, and I'm going to put the cork on this side. And I am wasting some of my little sentiments, but that's okay. I really want that cork side to be sticking out, or to be the thing that my calendar is sitting on. Doing it the same way as the other side. Lining up the edge closest to me, and the rest will all work out. Then I'm going to cut this away. So check it out. Now we have what looks like corkboard and a little design on the back. Isn't that cool? But I'm going to do this one in cork too, because this is the piece that's actually going to hold my calendar and help it to stand up in an easel form. So let me cover it in the cork as well. So now this side is covered. It will go here. It'll just look like a thicker corkboard, but it's going to be open in the back because it's going to hold the calendar up, and this is going to be the piece that is our base. So I want to cover this piece as well because I want it to be pretty from the back side. So I'm going to find another piece to put back there. I decided instead of cutting into another piece, I'm going to use this one. I like the little scissors and paints and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to stick this same piece on the back side of this one. So pick up my adhesive here, my backer. You guys say I scare you with my blade. I agree. And today is not the day to push that. Let's move it out of the way. Got a little bit of adhesive over the edge. Let me tuck that back. Okay, now we can stick this down. And because I'm doing all of these layers, this is going to be a very nice thick calendar. So it's going to be one that's going to last me the whole year easy. It's hard to make something for yourself. I find that we always want to make something for gifts. But, you know, sometimes you just need something like in your space that you look at to remind you that you made that and you do a really good job. And I think this is a great way to do it. Make yourself a calendar. Everybody needs a calendar, right? So just make yourself one for your little space. All right, so we're nice and covered. And I don't think I even told you the measurements of these guys, but I'm doing this in an A2 size card size because I know those sizes by heart, and this will fit perfect. And also because if you decide to make this card for friends or family, you can make it into a card with regular cardstock and still send them a calendar because it'll fit. So this piece is 11 inches by 4 1/4, and this piece is 4 by 5 1/4. So they're just standard A2 card sizes. I'll put the measurements in a blog post for you. Now, because this piece is such thick cardboard now, and we've layered so many layers on it, I'm not going to be able to put it in my scoreboard and just score it like I normally would. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find the middle using a ruler. You don't have to use this big ruler. I just have it handy, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to find the middle with my pencil. And the middle should be 5 1/2 inches. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/2. And I'm going to make myself a mark at 5 1/2 on one side and the same on the other. Then with my 5 1/2 inch marks, I'm going to put this ruler down and I'm going to take my scoring tool and I'm going to score this using the ruler, just using pressure and just to give myself a place to bend. I'm moving this so I get my embossing tool right on those lines I created. And I'm going to go over this a whole bunch of times with a lot of pressure. And something else you can do is while it's here, you can lift it to get a nice bend. And go slow because you don't want to tear anything. So we need to make a mark here at the 2 3/4 spot. So I'm going to line the center point of this ruler up at the center point I did there. And I'm going to make myself a pencil mark at the 2 3/4 spot, which is here on this side. I'm going to do the same on the other. So I'm using that 0 mark on my ruler, 2 3/4 right here. And then I'm going to score just like I just did, just to give myself an easier bend opportunity. Because if you don't, it's going to be harder to bend this dude. While I've got it here, I'm going to work that bend. Try not to rip the paper, so you don't want to go too fast, okay? So bend it. I want to get that bent all the way down. And see how I'm just kind of working it. I'm not overdoing it, just kind of working it into place because this is really thick now. I'm going to take my bone folder and press just like so. This guy is not going anywhere, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm going to take this one and fold it in. Again, not forcing it, taking its time. You do not have to use chipboard. If you don't want to use chipboard for your project, you can totally do this with regular cardstock. I just wanted it to last a really long time on my desk, so that's why I'm doing it. Now I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to mount it, but only to the bottom section here, okay? I'm not going to adhere it to the top, just like we were making an easel card, all right? So we're just going to adhere it to the second half of this area so that it will sit up when we lock it in place with our little stopper for our desk. So notice how this is giving me resistance. That's because it's chipboard and there's adhesive in here. If you're making this as a gift to send to somebody, I really do recommend doing it in cardstock, just a heavier cardstock, unless you want to, you know, make it permanent, kind of make it where it sits up like this for them. I like the way this is going to be for my desk, but I'm making it for myself, so I know how to work it. But if I didn't send it to somebody, they might not understand why it's not laying perfectly. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to glue it here, and I'm just going to use art glitter glue for that. See how it's wanting to fight me? When I put the stopper down, that will stop. Let me see how much space I have to put glue. I'm going to line that up like that and tell myself where my spot is. Now I know. I can get here. And I only put the adhesive on half because I only want it to go on this bottom half of the piece. So when this is all done, it will sit up like this, and I'm going to have some pretties here and some pretties here, and my calendar will sit right here, which I can go ahead and glue down. Now, I'm gluing my calendar straight down. You don't have to do that. You can put it down with a removable adhesive. Maybe you want to put it with some Velcro or a magnet, and then you could send a new calendar every year to someone. But I'm probably going to want to remake myself one next year anyway and do something a little different. So I don't mind gluing it straight down permanently. I think it'll be cute. See, check it out. And then I can just peel these off every month from the top, and it's going to work. I'm so excited. All right, now we need to put a stopper here so it'll stand up and something cute up there. So I'm going to utilize the sticker pack a lot. I'm going to come to the bottom, and I'm taking one of these little borders off the bottom, and I'm going to put it along the edge. I'm going to flip this back so you can see what I'm doing. Along this edge. I think it's super cute, And I think it'll be really pretty to just dress up this little bottom part right here. And then I'm going to put more on top, but I'm starting from the bottom, and then I'll build on top of that. Look how cute that is. For my stopper, I want to use this sticker that says, I like to party. And by party, I mean stay at home in my PJs and do crafts. I think this is so cute. And that's what I want to put down to hold my piece in place. So let me flip this back over and show you what I mean. When I put this down, I'm going to put it dimensional so it will stop my calendar. But it's a sticker, and that's not thick enough to do what I want. So I'm going to put it down on some of that same cardstock that I made this out of. And then I'm going to lift it up. So let me show you what I mean by that. So this is some of the same cardstock I was using. I'm going to stick this down into one corner, just like this. And then I'm going to cut it out on that chipboard. And I'm going to cut it twice. Once with the sticker, and then one more time the same shape, so I can stack them on top of each other. I've decided to go ahead and do this 3 thicknesses. I think it'll be better. I think it'll be as tall as I want it and nice and permanent for the whole year to give it a little more height. Because sometimes when your little stopper piece is not tall enough, it won't hold the calendar in place. And because I'm using all of this adhesive and cardstock that's causing so much resistance, I might need this. So now we have 1, 2, and 3, and that way they'll sit up really tall and be a good stopper for my piece. I may even find I want to add some foam tape, but we'll see. I'm going to go ahead and glue these together. So there is my little stopper piece. Let's see if it's going to stop my calendar. So it will go something like this, and that's pretty good. But I think I'm going to pop it up on some foam because I'm getting some resistance. And I think if this had a little foam tape behind it, we'd be better. So I'm going to put it down with the foam tape. The thing about this is I'm not mailing it. So I can really do this any way I want to because I'm just going to put this on my desk. So I can make it any height, any size. I don't have to stick with the A2 size. So that's another cool thing too. You can play around and make it fit whatever you want it to. I'm putting 2 layers of foam tape because my foam tape is not extremely thick, but I can double it up like that. I need to put one more piece here. Okay, let's line it up where we want it. I think I'm going to let it come forward a little bit. I kind of want it to touch that little border I put down. So just stick that down, and there you go. It's sitting nice. Isn't that good? And look at it from the side. Nice and sturdy. This is going to last me plenty all year. I love how this looks. So get that in there like that. Now I want to put something cute here, and I have just the thing in mind. Do you see this little section of stickers here that say, I love craft? I love to craft. This is going to go right there. I cannot wait. I think it's going to be adorable. Now, these letters are individual banner pieces. So I'm going to have to be real careful with this and see how I want to lay it out. I think I want it to go like at an angle. It's going to be hard for you to see. Maybe you can see it a little bit up there. I'll put these stickers to the side for a second. So because I want this banner to run across the top, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one down here. Just going to start with my C, just like that. Then I'm going to take the last letter, my T, and put it where I want it to end. So something like this. And it's hanging off the edge a little. I'm fine with that. Then I'm just going to work my way back and forth with the letters and get them laid in there. C-R. I'll put the F on the other end. Same distance roughly as the R from the C. Just like that. And then this A. Super cute. So there's craft, and then I'm going to put I love to on there also. And it is just going to go straight right here. And again, because I'm not mailing this, it's a craft for my desk, I can do anything I want as far as embellishments are concerned. I'm going to put some baker's twine on there to make it look like I actually strung that little banner. Just kind of hand measure a little piece out like this. I'm using a little piece of brown. I think it's really pretty. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to lay this flat so you can watch. I'm going to run just a bead, a thin, thin bead of art glitter glue across the top of these little banners. Just like so. And then I'm going to lay this into that glue. I cut it too big on purpose because if I make it just right, it's hard to kind of put into place. So this way I have a little bit to play around with. Don't worry, your glue's going to dry clear. And so any of that smears, we're not going to stress about. That'll be cute. I'm also going to tie little bows on the end, or for the end. These little extra pieces I'm going to snip away because that's where I'm going to put the bow to make it look nice and finished. They're just kind of hanging off the edge, like so. Then I'm going to tie some little bows. I think I want to do them double-stranded. I don't know. That may be too much. Nope, I think single-stranded. Okay, so we're going to make a loop. And I'm going to tie this just like a bow in my hand, just as if I were just tying a regular bow. But I'm not going to pull it super tight yet. I'm going to leave it loose and then adjust my loops like I want them, and then I will tighten it. How big do I want my bow is the question. Big is cute, so it doesn't really matter. It looks like I can do whatever I want to with it. And then I'm going to bring these in just slightly smaller than I want. So when I pull my loops, it gives me a little bit of room to pull them tight. And I don't end up with a bow that's not exactly the size I wanted it in the first place. All right. Bring my little tails out. I don't know how long I'm going to want my tails to be, so I'm going to leave myself plenty of room. So there's one bow, and I'll glue it to one side in just a second. Let's make another bow. Now these little guys are going to glue to the corners. We'll put some more art glitter glue up here. Like so. Stick this guy into the glue. Let it dry for a second. I'm going to trim some of these edges off. I'm going to leave myself a good bit of them though. I think they're cute, kind of long like that. So I'm not going to cut them off really short. You guys, this little ruler was in the little sticker pack. It is so cute. I'm going to stick it down on the top here. I'm going to trim off what's hanging over the edge. Maybe, I don't really have to because it's going in my office, but I might trim that off. I'm going to play with stickers and make it look like I want it to look. So from the paper pack, there's a couple of little, from the sticker pack or the sticker sheet, there's a couple of little flower stickers. I'm going to use those to kind of help me embellish too. I think this is super cute. And remember, it's going on my desk. I can do what I want to. I don't have to worry about it too awful much. I think I am going to trim this little ruler away so it doesn't get damaged and it can stay there. That is so cute on there too. So cute. And this guy is nice and sturdy. Again, too sturdy to mail, but perfect for your desk. If this was a gift you were handing to somebody, it would work just great. No problems with that. And I do believe that our art glitter glue is going to come through with our adhesive here at the top, because next month I'll just peel this piece off and just keep going. So cool. I hope you enjoyed this one. This stamp set has been a labor of love. We really were excited about making this one. We wanted to find a way to give you a calendar every year. Now, I did not put 2018 on here, and you won't find the year in here. That's something you'll want to add every time whenever you're making a calendar. But I have plenty of stamp sets that have numbers even in my stamp line. And if you're a club member, you've already got those. So you could always just put 2018 or print something out or get a sticker any way you want to do it. I'm just going to know this is my 2018 calendar. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think it was super fun. And this one is now in store for you guys to pick up. So grab them while we got them. We're going to keep them in store, but I feel like they may go kind of quick because everybody's wanting to make gifts for Christmas, and this is a great way to do it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'm going to go put my calendar on my desk. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.